Hey everyone, it's Sarah here from the Sisters Enchanted, and I am bringing you day 2 of our Oracle card reading class. So I hope that you enjoyed day 1 and that you have some ideas about what decks you'd like to work with, or if you have a few decks at home, maybe you chose one to really hone in on, or maybe you're still looking, which is great too, and maybe you have a starter deck that you're going to work with. Wherever you're at right now, that's awesome. You're on the road to being an expert card slinger in no time. So just keep practicing, keep thinking about what you want to do. So day 1, you picked your card deck, or you got some ideas about what cards you might want to work with. So day 2, today's lesson is all about preparing your deck for a reading and also preparing to read yourself. So you might be super tempted to just take the cards out of the box and just start, flipping cards over, which is, fine. You're not going to hurt yourself, obviously. You're not going to, do any damage to the universe. You can go ahead and dive in if that's what's really speaking to you. But it is helpful and really important to kind of ground yourself, center yourself, focus your intentions on your reading, and take away any excess energy from your card deck from other people handling it, or from shipping or being stored in the warehouse, anything like that. So the first thing that I would recommend when you get your cards is to program them, what we call programming, which might sound kind of strange and technical, but really it's just clearing the energy from your cards. So one recommended way to do this, there's a couple different things that you can do. One that is taught by Doreen Virtue, who's kind of the Oracle card leader in the industry. She teaches to hold your deck of cards in your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you would hold them in your left hand. If you're left-handed, you'd hold in your right. So to hold the cards in your non-dominant hand and literally knock on them with your dominant hand. And so the theory is that you're knocking any negative energy out, any excess energy from shipping or the packaging, the plastic wrap that might be around them, or the box or whatever. So the theory is you're actually knocking that energy out. And after you go ahead and do that, the next thing would be, and this is commonplace recommendation this is a commonplace recommendation throughout the industry, not just with Doreen Virtue. So to go through and actually, just briefly, you don't have to, focus too much on this, but briefly touch each card in your deck. So just briefly go through it. And the idea is that you're putting your energy now back into the card deck. And even take a step back from this, when you first receive your cards, it's really great to look at each of the images and get familiar with the cards. So that's a great time too to go through and put that energy into them. But basically knock the energy out and then go through and quickly touch each and every one of the cards. You don't need to touch the whole card, just one little corner will do. Just quickly go through and touch each of them. Another suggestion is to hold the cards to your heart. You can kind of fan them out a little bit. Hold them to your heart and set your intentions, your positive intentions. Ask for guidance from whoever it is that you ask for guidance from, whether that be the universe, a divine spirit, a goddess or God, whoever you ask to receive guidance from, or anybody that you want to gain clarity from, or whoever you channel to gain clarity would make more sense. Connect with that person while holding, or that person, connect with that being, that spirit, while holding the cards to your heart. That's another thing that you can do to prepare. And another way, if you're not holding to your heart, is just hold them in your hands. Actually hold them in your hands. You can close your eyes, breathe in and out, and visualize good positive energy going into your cards. So if for you that color, for me, I visualize like sparkly green when I'm visualizing for really good energy. So I would close my eyes and see that sparkly green going into my card deck, whatever that is for you. If that's, whatever color resonates for you, for your awesome, positive, vibey, lift me up and let me speak to the universe energy. Visualize that going into your card deck. It's another way to prepare your cards. Finally, you can leave them out in the sun, in the sunlight for just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be long, or in the moonlight, either one, to charge them up with the awesome energy that comes from the sun and the moon. And that will also help clear them out of any negative energies that might be stored in them. In between card readings, it can be really helpful to let your cards sit out with a clear quartz just sitting on them. And the clear quartz will help keep the deck clear of any negative energies that might be in your environment. So, we're all human. So on those really rough days at your house, when you don't want any negative vibes that are flowing through, or maybe if you're at the stage where you're doing readings for people out in public, and there's a lot of people around, you can keep a clear quartz on your deck to kind of clear the deck of all that stuff that gets brought in. So that's just kind of starting your deck out before you even start reading. You want to make sure you get all of that extra energy out before you even start reading. Once you do start reading, as I suggested, you can leave the clear quartz on your deck. Some people like to clear their deck in between every single reading that they do if it's for other people. So this is kind of going a little bit off track here, more than I wanted to talk about, but some people have decks that they only read themselves with, and they have other decks that they read for other people. So if you are reading for others, some people like to clear the deck in between every reading so that there's no excess energy from that other person left behind, especially if you're having the person that you're reading for touch your card deck. So if you're having them choose a card or cut the deck, some people really like to clear that energy in between. Now, if you don't have the time, say you're doing, back-to-back readings or something, and you don't have the time to leave the deck outside in the sunlight, or to let it sit with a clear quartz crystal on it, or you don't have time to, sit and visualize all the energy leaving, and you're really just doing back-to-back readings, you can, if you just ground yourself, put your feet flat on the ground, and hold your cards and visualize the energy, the excess energy just going through you back into the earth. That really works for some people. For some people, that might seem a little bit too kind of woo-woo crazy, and like they don't really need to do that. And that's totally fine. So if you feel like, for me personally, I don't necessarily need to stop and ground myself in between readings or anything like that. I find that I'm able just to take a deep breath and kind of just think on my cards for a second and move on. So whatever works for you. So those are some different ways that people are able to clear their cards in between readings before you start using your deck, programming it to feel your energy